Okay, I'm making this video as a reminder to all of us. I think most people have certain areas in their life in which they are fearful or concerned. Okay, back. As happens all the time, every single time I go to make a video, the phone rings. So I had to take care of that. I've got this lone little thing that won't stay up. My hair is finally long enough to put up. I was actually going to put one of the wigs on today, but not today. One day soon though, really. So what I was saying was there are always things that come up in our lives that cause us worry or concern, and we dwell on them. And we spend a lot of time and a lot of energy with some kind of angst about it, or at least a lot of us do. And I have to tell you, I mean, I've been told so many times in my life, my father always used to say, the coward dies 1,000 deaths, the brave man only one. And, you know, it's just, my brother, who is a psychologist, is always telling me, just take it one step at a time, don't look ahead. Because when you look at the whole picture, it's kind of hard to deal with. There is a purpose to what I'm talking about, and I'm doing it in a roundabout kind of way. And I'm doing this for those of you who spend a lot of your energy on the fear of the unknown, the fear of being claustrophobic, the fear of not being able to deal with something. And it has a practical application. What happened was I finally got to go for my MRI, and this was the dreaded MRI because I had been told months ago by one of the techs there at the facility that they did not have the wide bore machine, that they only had the regular one, and at 60 centimeters it's tight. And I was terrified, and I wanted to do anything but have that test, and I was dreading it, fearing it, worried about it. And then came the day, and that day was yesterday. And I went there, thank God for Linda. She took me there, and just before she picked me up, I took my first ever Xanax. I had the doctor give me the lowest dose possible because I've never taken it in my life. I didn't know how it would make me feel. I didn't want to feel loopy. I didn't want to feel out of it. The tramadol had such a horrible effect on me that I was really concerned to try anything that was any kind of mind altering in any way, or brain altering in the way that it perceives messages. So here it goes again. I don't believe this. Right back. Trying yet again. I could be here for hours and hours and the phone does not ring, but get on here, you can bet. Okay, so I took the Xanax, and I didn't take it until her car was outside, just in case I had a bad reaction to it. I didn't want to do it while I was alone. So I took the pill. I had taken whatever else I needed to take in the morning, the normal stuff. And I actually have not been taking all of my blood pressure medications because a strange byproduct of this whole thing is that my pressure has been down. Possibly part of it having to do with the fact that I've lost considerable weight. In the year and a half, or year and several months, I think about a year and a half, since I had been to my cardiologist, I had lost 19 pounds. So part of it I lost because I wanted to. In the beginning, I was getting way too heavy again, and I did that on purpose. And then part of it is because of the nausea and everything else I was feeling with this, and that was it. So we started out for the facility. Now, I didn't know until the last minute whether or not I was going to have this test, because I got a call 2 days before telling me that they could not do the test unless I could produce the card or the information about the stent that I had put in 11 years ago. Nobody's ever asked for it before. I had no knowledge. I had no idea where it was. I tried calling the hospital where it was put in. Because it was so long ago, they didn't have access to those medical records. It was in Pennsylvania. There was no way they were getting that information before my test. And they didn't ask for it until 2 days before. And I said to them, I don't understand why you need this information since I've already had an MRI and I had it with no problem. And I said to them also, by the way, I said, I'm very stressed about this because you don't have the wide bore Tesla 1.5. And they said to me, of course we do. I said, you do? Now, just by that statement, they alleviated half of the frantic stress that has been building up in me for months. The other person I had spoken to months ago was wrong. If I had known that, I would not have been dreading this. I've gone through that machine. I know I can do it. So they tell me they're scheduling it, and it was scheduled for yesterday morning, but they were going to call me in the morning to see if they had received the information yet from my medical records, and if not, I couldn't have the test. Except I need the test before surgery, and they have no more openings, so it was this conundrum. Okay, I get a call back 8:30 in the morning, and he says to me, I spoke to our head radiologist, and he said, it's a cardiac stent, right? I said, yes. He said, it's fine. Duh. I told them it was fine. In any case, they told me their equipment is much stronger and blah, blah, blah. Until I got there, I did not know that to be fact, but I do understand it now. And I do understand that there are big differences between different manufacturers of the same kind of equipment. The one that was used yesterday at Comac at Sloan was the GE, and it was the Tesla 1.5. But they told me also that their Tesla 3.0 is also a short machine. And it was nothing, there was nothing for me to have gotten all worked up about in the first place. I wasted a huge amount of energy. And the reason that I tell you this, and this is for any person who is going to be facing an MRI, is claustrophobic and is terrified. You need not be. There are lots of things you need to know, you should know. If you know them up front, it will help you get through it. I will tell you that the Xanax that I took, I didn't feel anything the whole time we were driving there. The only thing I felt was slightly tired, slightly, but I was fine. And they had me change, and then they had me wait. And they finally brought me into the room, and I saw the thing, and I said, okay. When they put me on the table, the biggest problem I had, and I had warned them about this, was that because of the location of my tumor, part of it is retroperitoneal, and it affects my back depending upon the position they lay me down in. And I said to them when my last MRI was done, what made it easy for me to tolerate was them putting a wedge under my knees, which took the pressure off my lower back, and it was fine. They told me that they could not put a wedge under my knees, but they could put a pillow under my knees. Pillow didn't work. Pillow was not enough elevation for my knees to take the pressure off my back. I knew I was in trouble from the beginning. They had told me the test, originally they told me an hour when I called in, but it turned out it was maybe 30 minutes in the machine once it was set up. And I will tell you there was a huge difference between this 1.5 and the one that they used, which was a Siemens machine that they used at Zwanger. The one at Swanger, the noise level was nowhere near as intense as this one. This one was like somebody was jackhammering my head, and the way they put the earphones on me, which was not exactly great, I felt like it was an echo chamber. So it was like having intensified experience of this. There were different sounds for different parts of it. Know that it is a series of pictures that is taken. Depending upon what they're filming, they can tell you approximately how many the series will be so that you can be prepared for it. Each segment in the series is short. It may run 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and that's when you'll hear that hard clanging and whatever. In between the clanging is when they're setting up for the next picture in the series. I could count the pictures. They also put music on in the background for me. This time I asked them for Kenny Rogers. It would have been lovely, except it was lower than the clanging, so I really couldn't hear it for the first half of the test. All I heard was that noise, and if it didn't make me deaf, it's going to be a miracle. But what I'm trying to tell any of you that are going to face your own MRI for the first time, or not for the first time, and you're terrified, the more knowledge you have about what is coming, the less frightened you are going to be. And I am absolutely of the belief that you can get through it without hysteria. You can get through it without screaming, "Take me out." One of the things one of my viewers had said to me recently is that they put her in the machine fast. Ask them to wheel you into it slowly so that you don't get that feeling of being zoomed into this tunnel. It will help you tremendously. Once again, knowing that it's a series, knowing that it's going to be each series of sounds, and then there'll be a break in it, and then there'll be another one. As we got to the third one, I said to myself, only 3 more to go. Now, mine had to be done with contrast this time. They explained the whole thing to me. I was set up with the IV before I started. The first 5 in the series, I believe it was 5, it could have been 6. The first ones were without contrast. Then the nurse came in and she administered the contrast. I don't want to say exactly. I thought it sounded like gadolinium something. I will try to look it up and give you a better definition of what it is. I asked if there would be any reaction to it. She said you may feel a little cool when it goes in, and some people get a metallic taste in their mouth. And I said, oh no, I've lived with a metallic taste in my mouth for a long time, and it's pretty much gone, so I'd be very happy for that not to happen. In truth, didn't happen. I had no reaction to it other than feeling that slight cool sensation as it was going in. They did the last series. They came and took me out, and I was fine. You will be fine if you have to face it. If you see this video because you're preparing to go and you're terrified and you need a little bit more reassurance, write a comment. I'll get back to you. I see my comments quickly usually. The only time I may not get back to you right away is I'm having surgery on July 13th. So if you happen to do it then or in the next couple of days, it might take me a little bit to get back to you. Do not keep watching videos about people's reaction to it, because there are a lot of people who had reactions where they were screaming, "Get me out," and whatever. Don't listen to that, because it will only terrify you. I'm telling you, you can do it, and the machines that they use today, most of the time, in most places, is nowhere near the barbaric chambers that they used to have years ago, before they understood the psychological effect it had on people, especially those with claustrophobia. So this is for all of you who will see this from now on. And I just want you to know that it's not what you're fearing. It's not at all. And you can get through it. For me, the Xanax just took the edge off. The unfortunate thing for me is that I liked feeling that way, and I told my friend, ooh, I could like this. However, I'm not a drug-taking person, as everybody who follows me knows. I will not allow myself to get into the position where I am dependent upon any drug, but knowing that I have it as a backup if I need it, I will take it. The nurse practitioner who did my workup before surgery and who told me the time to take Xanax is anytime you say to yourself, should I take a Xanax? That's the time to take it. She told me to take it the morning of my surgery because she said, if you are relaxed going into the surgery, it's going to make the surgery much easier for you, and it's going to make it much easier for them. So just something else for you to know. And if I can help in any other way, just let me know. I'm here to help. Take care, and as I say, this one's for you. Bye-bye.